of in economics and banking is your today's host for this web. A very good afternoon to one and all. I, Pretty Luisa Pereira, Assistant Professor in Economics and Banking, is your host for this today's guest lecture. In order to highlight the importance of business processes in, in today's world, we have organized this guest lecture. On behalf of Shri VVM, Shri Damodar College of Commerce and Economics, I welcome you all for this today's guest lecture. Questions, you all can put it up in your chat box. I request now Anupriya Achari from FI BCom to introduce our resource person.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Hello, ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, Anupriya, you are audible. Anupriya, you are audible.
Okay. It's my pleasure to introduce today's renowned guest speaker, Mr. Suresh Baliram Patil. He is the Chief Manager of Quality Management at Siemens Verna. Mr. Suresh has graduated from University of Pune in Electronics Engineering. Additionally, he has also successfully completed his diploma in Industrial Electronics from Board of Technical Education, Mumbai. He has also completed MTech in Quality Management from BITS Pilani and has also aspired for PhD in Quality Management from University of Mysore. What's so fascinating is that he has been a technical assistant at the College of Engineering, Parvanna Nagar for 2 years. Some of the important trainings undergone by Sir him are leadership enhancement through excellence in people management, Pokayoke techniques, problem-solving techniques, certified Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, and many more. He has been an outstanding quality management for more than 16 years and is also having 11 years of additional experience in other functions of industry, manufacturing automation and drive system for industrial application. Mr. Suresh Patil has been working as a quantity management for 27 years at Siemens Limited, Verna, Goa. Some of the key achievements of our speakers are: he installed the custom satisfaction monitoring methodology of factory level in addition to one present at company level. Extension of the customer first program at factory touchpoints. Successful implementation of Siemens production system and SFM, defining the implementation of strategic level through Hasin Khanri, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Anupriya. Now I request our resource person to take over. Sir, you are not audible. Your mic is off.
Is it okay now? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, first of all, thank you, ma'am, for inviting me for this lecture. And also, thanks, Anupriya, for your nice introduction. Yes, that's really, really fascinating that I started my career in College of Engineering. But yeah, that was also a stopgap arrangement, by the way. So very quickly, we will move to business processes. I will just share my desktop. Questions are, I don't know whether it will be possible to handle during the presentation, or maybe later we can have some time slot specifically for question and answer. What do you suggest, ma'am? Do you see my desktop now, colleagues? Hello?
So it's very small.
Okay. Let me try by switching out my video. Is it okay now? Because now I'm in full presentation mode.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir, it's okay.
Thank you. So today we'll discuss about business processes. What is business, first of all? So it's nothing but organized efforts. Yeah. So there are definitely efforts, but they are organized of enterprise. Enterprise can be a person, can be a group of people, or it can be a group of companies as well. And what's the aim? The aim is to supply consumers with goods and services. And the final aim of any business is to make a profit. So organized efforts for enterprise to supply consumers with goods and services for a profit. That's the overall definition of business. What is process? It's basically a set of interrelated and interacting or interconnecting activities that use inputs to deliver an intended result. As a simple day-to-day example, I can give about process is when we eat pizzas. So just taking a bite and putting it in the mouth is not the eating process. So when we say I'm eating a pizza, it is an overall process that you take a pizza, you cut it in a small piece, you put it in your mouth, you chew it, and then you. So this is the entire process of eating pizza. Hope you understand what I mean by processes. And now if we combine both of them, then it becomes a business process. So it's a set of organized and interrelated or interacting activities to ensure profitable and sustainable business. So profit is always the main aim of any business, as I already talked about, but it also has to be sustainable business. So not that it runs for a couple of years and then the business is in a problem. Overall, the processes will look something like this. So first of all, the business starts with customer. So when we say customer will identify their own needs, what he or she or they need, and then the business is to fulfill the needs, and these needs can be fulfilled through various processes. Number one is product lifecycle management. We will go through each and every block of this maybe briefly. But right now I will just tell you the blocks. In product lifecycle management, it talks about product portfolio management. That is, which product should be in market, which I should withdraw, which I should ramp down, and which I need to ramp up. So all this is the function of product portfolio management. Once this function decides on which products are required, then it goes to R&D, that is research and development or product development team. So they work on the product conception. They conceptualize the product, then they realize. So realization of the product is nothing but making the prototype, testing it, and verifying if all the needs are taken care in the product or not. Then after that, once the product is realized, it goes into sale. So the product goes to customer. Of course, every product has its own life with respect to technology, with respect to function, with respect to performance. Technology, as you know, it's changing very fast. And as and when new technology comes, the old product has to be phased out. And that is what is the last phase of the product lifecycle management, is phasing it out. The next block is about customer relationship management. So at one end, we are developing a product, we are planning to sell, and we are also talking about phasing out, but interactions with the customer are also very important. It starts with planning, that is which type of customers I want, which area I want to get into, and all that. Marketing is nothing but going to the customer, showing the values of your product or your organization as well. Because today, just having a good product does not, or rather, is not sufficient. Once we establish some relationship with customers through planning and marketing, then the sales of the product happens. The function goes to customer, they sell the product, they collect the money, and once the product is sold, then service and support. So these are the four major processes which directly interact with customer. The third block is supply chain management. Here, once the product is ready, once the customer is ready, before we go to customer for selling the product, we need to manufacture it. We need to produce it. And the major blocks of the supply chain are sourcing. So that is, we get the material, we get the vendors on board, we store the material, then making, which is actual production. Of course, testing is also part of make. Then we deliver. So deliver is nothing but packing and dispatch and confirming that the customer has received the products, and then the return process. So not that all the products, whatever we are supplying to customer, work. So there are also some failures of the product. Some failures are because of the inherent deficiencies in the product. Some of them are because of misuse by the customers. Some of them are because of the environment in which they are working. So such failed product do come back, and that is how we handle the return. So, or rather, that is addressed by the process called as return. So once these three main process blocks are done, then there are supporting processes. Support processes, though they are support processes, they are equal or even more, in some cases, more important than these processes. That is what I would say. So the first one is human resource management. So, wherein it deals with the workforce, the employees, uh, then is the infrastructure. So while carrying out the activities, we also need buildings. We also need some machines, some maybe environmental or air conditioning, and that is where the infrastructure comes in picture. Another block is costing and accounts. I think you people in commerce should be much aware of this block, the actual product costing, and then accounting, what we spend, what we earn, and in under which all blocks the expenditure is happening. And administrative services is basically overall administration of the workforce, the infrastructure, uh, and the entire setup as such. Now, above this are the processes related to management. Yeah. So management processes include strategic planning and controlling. Because as I already talked about, uh, business need to be sustainable, and you need to be profitable over a long period of time. So all this is ensured through strategic planning and controlling. Uh, for running the business, we also need some finance. Sometimes the organization also has some excess money. So then we need to plan all that money, whether we need to borrow or we need to maybe uh, give it to others. So all this is controlled by financial people. Enterprise governance is which decides your various policies, um, and ensures that whatever happens in the organization or in the business is ethical and in a compliant way. And the integrated management system is the function which sets the processes across the organization, uh, also sets up various key performance indicators to monitor and measure the processes, also sets up the objectives and targets, and monitors all that. And my function is basically part of integrated management system. And this is how then we fulfill the customer needs. As I already talked about, monitoring, control, and continual improvement, two key performance indicators across all the process block is very much important from sustenance of the business point of view. Now coming to the first block called as customer relationship management, and therein the planning and marketing plan part. Basically, these two blocks go hand in hand, and that is the reason I have presented them together over here. So it first talks about selecting customers. So which type of customers or which area I want to address. Whether I want to address industrial customers, I want to address maybe utility customers like electricity boards or um, other utilities, or I want to address uh, customers who are domestic user of domestic products or educations. So we select the customers. Then acquiring the customer, that is, then we approach the customers, we discuss with them, we show them what products we want to manufacture or we are into, the values for those products. So all that comes into acquiring customers. Sometimes this really becomes a challenge, specifically when the customer is already having or already using some other brand. So then switching over from that particular brand to our brand really is a, I would say, art and science of marketing. Then once the customers are on board, retaining them, having a better relationship through various interactions, uh, and of course, consistency in delivering the product, the right product, is the key to retain the customers. The customer satisfaction, we also need to capture the customer satisfaction, see where customers are rating us good and where the customers are rating us um, bad, or maybe we need to improve on, and take the appropriate actions. Then we also need to develop marketing strategies. Um, uh, as I said, not that all the products we will be able to sell as uh, plain as we see. For example, if I have 10 products, and if my cost is, let us say, all the product is, let us say, 10 rupees, but still if I go to market and say, yeah, my cost is 10 rupees and maybe I earn 2 rupees profit, so I will sell each and every product at 12 rupees. The equation is not that simple. Some products are important for customer and not so commonly available in market. So for those products, we can increase our profit margin. We can ask for more money, because the demand is more. In some products, the demand is less. There are too many competitors, but just to be in the market, we want to continue to sell those products as well. So for those products, maybe we can sell them at lower prices than my cost, so that overall, as a business per se, we are making profit. So all this comes under the market strategies and plans. So some products I may sell at 8 rupees, even though my cost is 10 rupees. Some products I may say at 14 rupees, even though my cost is at 10 rupees. Okay? Value. So nowadays, customers do look at value, not really at a product. So what value they are going to get out of that product is very important. So we need to choose what values we can offer. We need to design those values, deliver, communicate, and sustain. One example I can give from Siemens is, when all of us deal with electricity in our day-to-day life, and whenever there is some fault of electricity, let us say the line is coming, let us say from Maharashtra to Goa, or let us say from Belgaum to Goa. In between, if some fault happens and if there is some defect and the electric supply is cut, in earlier days, or even now in many areas, the wireman has to walk through various routes to see physically where the fault has occurred. Maybe they can shorten the area by looking at various substations, what they are. Uh, but still they need to take the efforts to go or rather to walk through the line to find out the defect. So looking at this problem, we choose a value that we will provide help to the electricity board to identify or to locate the fault without making the wiremen or the electricity people walking through the line. And accordingly, we designed the product. This product is placed at every practically, it is supposed to be placed at every pole, but then depending on the cost, they do decide the areas. Maybe they put one device every half a meter or so. This device then communicates with the central monitoring system whether the line is okay till that point or not. And if so, from this, then whichever device is not communicating, they can easily identify half a kilometer area. They can go to that area directly and look at the phone. So this is the value. We are not selling a product. We are selling the value. And this is very important nowadays. Next is business orientation. So that also this also becomes very important. I'm sorry, I need to be fast, but it can be production oriented, product oriented, selling or marketing. When I say production, organization may decide to produce on a mass basis and then sell them at cheaper prices. Product means you differentiate your product and then sell it in the market. Selling is basically unless a person goes to the consumer or to the customer will not see the product. So you really need to sell the product. So here basically the salesperson comes in picture. So generally the domestic products which are like your Forbes vacuum cleaner and all that, they come under this category of selling and marketing. So marketing is, as I talked about, the value selling, making customer aware of the values in our product. Marketing information system is basically getting the information about the market, how many competitors are there in the market, what is their market share, what share we to target, and which kind of segments we should be addressing. So this marketing information becomes important into that. Forecasting and demand management depending on this marketing information. And yeah, pricing strategy last. So this also we touched upon earlier. Then comes sales. So sales is basically whenever there is an inquiry from a customer, then we identify that prospect, then we prepare. Prepare in the sense we do preliminary costing. We find out whether our solution is feasible for the customer. Then we go to customer. We present our solution. Then if that solution is acceptable to customer, then we do the costing. Now this is the detailed costing which includes your product costing, which includes your efforts by sales and delivery, after service. Because sometimes there are contracts like after you sell the product, you need to provide service for 5 years free of cost, and so all that comes into costing. There is then a clarification phase where probably sometimes salespeople are not clear about the requirements. So the clarifications happen, then finally offer or bid is submitted. So there is a difference in the offer and bid. Bid is basically where the criteria by customer is many companies will participate and then they will choose L1, L2, that is who is lowest one, who is lowest two, and based on that they will decide to whom we should do the business. Of course, they also restrict who should participate in the bid depending on their previous experience with those suppliers. And offer is like one customer sends you request for quotation and then we send the offer. It is one-to-one. Not there are maybe one or two players, not many players into the business. So after the offer or bid is submitted, then once again we the salespeople go, they present their the details. Again negotiation happens, and once negotiation happens, either the organization wins the order or they lose the order. So if the order is won, then there is a kickoff meeting wherein the order is handed over by sales to the execution team, and then execution team uh, executes that order, delivers that, and handing over is done to the customer. And after that, again, there is one sales portion which comes in picture is the payment collection. So payment collection also happens in between stages, depending on the payment terms and conditions. Sometimes there is a advance payment, sometimes partial advance, partial at various stages. Sometimes customer says after successful handing over, nowadays, the trend is also that after successful performance of the product. So these are the main functions of the sales. Then service, when the product or project is handed over to customer, then if there are any issues, we receive a service call or complaint, it needs to be analyzed with reference to the previous knowledge or previous incidences, what had happened. Then we align with customer, because even though we have supplied one product, that one product is installed in the entire line of customer, and they might not be able to give shutdown to remove that product and replace it with another one. So we need to have alignment with customer in that respect. Then perform the activities, either replace or repair, and then close the contract. The below row shows the various key performance indicators. Basically, key performance indicators means how do we say that this particular functions or departments are efficient in their performance or not. So these are the indicators. So if we have good market share, we can say yes, our planning and marketing function is performing very well. If our served market is better than unserved market, if we have clarity on served market, then we can say yes, the function is well. In sales, hit rate. Hit rate is nothing but how many offers or bids we submitted, and out of them, how many we won. So it's the ratio of 1 to the total submitted. And if it is good or it is high, then definitely our salespeople are putting efforts to own the orders. And here the customer complaint closure time, customer satisfaction, because customer, once we sell the product, customer will come back only if we provide proper service or support to customer during operation. Otherwise, we should forget the next order from the same customer. So customer satisfaction is very important, and there is also something called as non-conformance cost after delivery. So this is when we incur additional cost which is not planned. Coming to the product portfolio management, I think here I already talked about during the introduction that we need to decide which product we need to have in the market, which customers should we deal with, what are the products available in the market, and all that. And that helps us to identify which product we should design and sell. So in product conception and product evaluation, these are the two functions generally taken care by the function called as R&D. So here they do the relevant research on the requirement, they conceptualize, they work on various design options. Then while shortlisting the design options, they also need to consider the customer requirements or the market requirements, and also the cost of the product. So both need to go hand in hand. Otherwise, if we are giving very good product but the cost is too high, then definitely customer will not come back or rather buy the product, and vice versa is also true. If my product is too cheap, but it is not fulfilling the customer requirements, still customer will not buy that product. So once the design is finalization, then the verification, validation, prototype testing, there are various type tests which are not the routine tests, but we need to simulate various site conditions and then see whether the product can perform over there, and then release the product. Of course, once we release the product, training on the product is also important for sales, marketing, and other people. Then sale, I think we have already talked about product phase out. Here we need to consider when we decide that we are now the technology is obsolete, or there are other products in market from competition which are better in technology, or maybe with some different technology which is at lower cost, then we need to decide on product phase out. So while deciding on the product phase out, we need to consider what is my installed base, because then I need to plan for spares or for the support for whatever time period we have agreed during sale. And also then we need to communicate internally and externally to the customers. They may decide to have a last buy call, and once all this process is done, then we can discontinue the plan. So then in supply chain management, the first comes is sourcing, wherein we do the production planning. First of all, when we receive the order, then accordingly we procure the material. So not that we will procure the material only after we get the order, by the way. So here also it depends on the type of material. There are some type of material which we need to procure and keep them in stock. So this decision is again taken based on the consumption pattern and also on the minimum order quantity. So sometimes if we order higher quantity, we get benefit. We get the components at a cheaper price. So this decision is taken while we decide on the material procurement, whether we should stop. There are some components which are project specific or which has very rare consumption, then those can buy based on the project or order. Then we do inspect the material, whatever we have procured. Then we store. Again, for storing, there are some conditions required, maybe some air conditioning, or if it is an electronics factory, then there is something called as electrostatic discharge. I will not get into those details, but there are some specific environments in which the products are to be stored. So that is also we need to consider while deciding on the stock approach. And then whenever the order is loaded to shop, we issue the material. So the key performance indicator here is the material availability to the production. So production should not stop because the material is not available. And the second key performance indicator is the rejections. So there is also something called as non-conformance cost because of sourcing. So if there is a defective material and we produce the products with that defective material, and if it is captured at a later stage, maybe during testing, in-house testing, or maybe sometimes it may surface out when the product goes at the customer end after several months of functioning. So then we need to recall that product. We need to rectify those products and then maybe give them a replacement free of cost. So all that is again the something called as non-conformance cost. In make, it's basically the actual production of the product. So production, pre-testing, testing. So maintenance of machine 6 fixture is also part of make process. They are part of the make process and not separated out because they need to have very close interaction and close monitoring. If there is some machine which is down and the production is held up, then they really need to act very quickly. And of course, they also need to do day-to-day workforce management. So the planning of day-to-day production, depending on what is the workforce available on that day and what are the requirements or what are the commitments given to the customer. And that is where the KPI delivery reliability comes in picture. So this is basically how many products or how many orders we could deliver to customer as we had committed. So of course, the best possible is 100. So we deliver everything as we have committed to customer, but practically it does not happen. Also, the productivity is basically utilization of the resources. So how many resources I have utilized vis-a-vis how many resources I could recover, or how much resource cost I could recover from the product. That is the productivity. First pass yield and defect per million are the quality related KPI. Then comes deliver. So here, so packing, invoicing, and taxation. So depending on which area it is going, so we also actually export the products. For example, from our Goa factory, we are exporting around 70 to 80% of the products to the entire world, to even to European countries. So this is our global factory. So the individual country has different requirements of invoicing and taxations. So all those need to be taken care here. Transport management, as I said, domestic as well as export. So we need to design the transport accordingly. Then dispatch happens, and then once we get the customer receipt and acceptance, because sometimes during transport there are damages because of some accidents or some mistakes in the packing, so customers do not accept. Then we need to rectify that. We need to handle that case, and once it is accepted, the responsibility of deliver ends. The return, it is very similar to the process what we already talked about, or it is same as what we talked about in the customer relationship management. Additionally, since the return in supply chain is actually repairing of the product and analyzing what went wrong, and the feedback goes back to the product development team or the R&D team that yes, in this product this was the problem, and we need to change our design next time to ensure that this defect does not occur. And there is also a business actually in return, because we generally give warranty for 2 years or 3 years, and customer of course will not throw the product if they get a defect after warranty period. So they will ask for repairs, and we do repair at cost. So that is also one kind of business, and that is where then invoicing and taxation and customer acceptance comes in. Support processes, HRM, that is human resource management, very important function of any business, because for any business we need people, and wherever there is a need of the people, persons, HRM comes in picture. So they do plan for human resources. They acquire the basis for planning is basically inputs from individual departments or individual functions, what they need, and what are the plans for expansion, or maybe sometimes if quantity is going down, there is no hiring plan as well. So based on this, they will plan, then they will acquire the resources. They also do the job evaluation. So this job evaluation um, is to decide on what grade is to be allocated to the person working on that particular job. So sometimes it is just a technician job, sometimes it is an engineer, senior engineer, manager, senior manager, chief manager, and so on. So they decide on the criteria for the gradation, and then they evaluate the jobs, and then they fix the gradation to the job. Job analysis is also part of HRM process, wherein uh, they need to analyze the functions uh, or what that particular person is doing. This job evaluation and job analysis also helps uh, in hiring the person, because the requirement, what kind of person we need, also comes from this job evaluation and job analysis. Then training and development is part of the HRM. The requirement again comes from the various functions. The remuneration is decided by HR function jointly with the business people. So depending on the performance of individuals and average budget of the organization for that particular year, the increments are to be the increments are decided. Personal records are maintained by HRM. Then industrial relations. So here we have some industrial laws with respect to how we should deal with the people, specifically the working people or workmen, to be specific. In good language, they are called as blue collar. So we need to ensure that all those legal or the requirements coming from government are fulfilled. Separation, when a person separates out, again calculating the various payments what that person will get, including coordinating for the PF and all that is done by HR. And they also advise top management and HODs on the HR topics, the person related topics. Infrastructure is basically talking about the buildings, the factory, the equipment, the offices, etc. Uh, Costing and account, uh, as we talked about earlier, or touched upon, product costing is part of this. In product costing, they need to consider what is the raw material going in, what is the processes, what are the equipments or machines we will be using. They also calculate the per hour cost of the machine, and then they assign it to the particular product that to manufacture for this particular project. I will need to utilize this particular machine, let us say for 10 minutes, and then what will be the cost of that utilization of that machine for 10 minutes. So accordingly, the product costing is done. Of course, they also need to consider what profit we need to earn, and that will also go into the pricing strategy. They also need to plan the funds. So, what funds are available, what funds we will need. They are like the capital. They need to decide on what working capital I will need depending on the demands, and what investment I can do for further expansion. All this comes under the costing and accounts. Then administrative services, which are like transportation, canteen, security, healthcare. So all these are the services which are provided to employees and also to the business, and those are administered by this particular function. Management processes, strategic planning. So here we the function determines the position of the organization. They also carry out the SWOT analysis. It is basically the strength and weakness and opportunity and threat. So what are our internal strengths? What are our internal weaknesses as an organization, of course, and what are the opportunities available outside the organization and what are the threats. So, for example, opportunities can be new business or new policies by the government. Threats can be some new competitor coming in. Internal strengths can be having very good workforce, and weaknesses can be maybe hypothetical situation that some challenges in teamwork. All these factors, of course, these are just one example. There are many more factors under each category, which sorry, I will not be able to cover today. Then based on the position, then identifying strategic issues and so they define the strategy. They develop the strategy, wherein they define what is my vision, what is my mission, what are the goals, what are the organization or organization values, what are the strategic levers to achieve my goals, and based on that, then a plan is prepared. That plan is then given to the team which is responsible to implement this plan in actual, and of course the plan implementation is monitored. Once the implementation is rolled out or being rolled out, monitoring the results is also important to check whether whatever strategies we have developed is in a right direction or not. Sometimes we say, we wanted to go to Mumbai, but we land up in Belgaum, so that should not happen. So we need to revisit the strategy depending on the results. Financial planning and controlling, they are very much similar to the accounts and financing what we discussed about, but this is more at the managerial level or corporate level, wherein they plan and provide finance to individual business units. They also decide on the debts or loans or investments or financing other funds. Then enterprise governance, wherein board practices are very much important. The transparency is important. The policies, what board decides, the procedures are decided in the enterprise governance. Legal and regulatory systems are part of this. Compliance and business ethics. As I talked about, it is very important in today's situation. And let me tell you, Siemens is very well known for compliance and business ethics. So we, at times, we do not do business, but we do not compromise on compliance and business ethics. And social corporate responsibility, wherein as a business, we need to also give back to society to ensure that because we are in the business because of the society. Individual business run their own programs for social corporate responsibility. And integrated management system, wherein we have quality management systems, we have energy management systems, we have safety management systems. ISO is basically in the International Organization for Standards, and they come out with standards requirements. And as a process of certification for these standards, there are periodic audits, yearly audits by the certifying agencies. They visit to your business. They check whether all the requirements mentioned in the standards are fulfilled and followed consistently, and then they award the certificate. So the advantage of having this certification is that we can build confidence to customer that see, we are ISO certified company. So it means our processes are in place and are effective. And of course, objective deployment and monitoring, continual improvement. So today we did something, tomorrow we need to keep on improving. And yeah, that is also part of this particular function. Yeah, this is my last slide, wherein I am just displaying the entire reference process house. This is called as reference process house for any business. And now I can take questions maybe for next 5 minutes. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so if there are any questions, I can take questions from
Students, if you all have any questions, then can you all please put it up in the chat box so you all can ask sir quickly? Anyone is having any questions? Participants? Do you all have any questions?
So I understand that it was very...
So I guess, sir, there are no questions.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your... Thank you, sir, for your lively session. So now I request Saurabh Sarvi from FY BCom to propose the vote of thanks.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are
Hello.
audible.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes,
I'm here
Saurabh,
to
you are
present the
audible.
vote. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to present the vote of thanks for today's guest lecture on the topic business process. Firstly, I would like to thank our guest speaker, Mr. Suresh Patil, for taking time from his busy schedule and enlightening us with his vast knowledge. Today's session was very informative and full of interesting things. It gave deep insights into the topic and also revealed some interesting facts. I would also like to thank our principal, Professor Preetham Malya, for encouraging and supporting us to organize this lecture. Further, I would also like to thank Dr. Leera Gama, HOD of the Economics and Banking Department, as well as our teachers in charge, Ms. Priti Pareram, Ms. Farah Mendonça, Ms. Lizette DeCosta, and Mr. Shrikant Madar, who really worked hard to make this event successful. A special thanks to our technical staff for their support throughout the lecture. Lastly, thank you to all the students present here, without whom the lecture wouldn't be possible. Thank you for paying attention and learning. Thank you once again, sir, for your words of wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Saurabh. Yeah, thank you, students, and thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Have a nice day too. Bye.